Let's do the collective reading. We've got an exciting one this week. We've got some changes on the astrology with the planets above, and I think they're going to invoke some really big things this week. So I'm a little bit excited to take a look at the astrology, so I am going to give it its own section today because I just think there's some really big things on the table. They could play out in a very good way as well for truth being revealed. But I'm going to be using the Forecaster Oracle today. This is a 3-part section. First part is the feeling of the collective energy, what's happening with the collective and the people. I do know what I'm feeling, and I'll get to that when I get to that section. I will be doing a predictive section, so what this means on the world stage, how this energy will play out predictively, and then finally the third stage will be the personal prediction and the best way to navigate this energy for the week ahead. But I think some big things are happening this week, and I feel a little bit excited about the energy this week, even though there might be challenges and struggles. I feel there may be something revealed this week, which is going to be really exciting. So let's get into this reading. I am starting with the astrology reading today, and I'm just going to I read mine upside down so that you can see it clearly. So let's see what the chart is and the big things that's happening this week on the chart. So what we have got is Sun. Here's the Sun here. The Sun is moving into Taurus, into an earth sign. So we're moving into Taurus season. Now the Sun wants to illuminate, it wants to shine its light, it wants to reveal. What's going to be happening is the Sun is going to be forming a squaring aspect over here with Pluto. Pluto's in Aquarius, which is also a fixed sign, so 5 degrees. So it's going to be forming a squaring aspect. That's a challenging aspect, but Pluto has things hidden in its depths, and the Sun wants to shine a light about what is revealed. Now, there's a couple of things about Pluto that's going to be activated this week. One of the things that Pluto represents is willpower, egos, where power lies. So how much power you give away to another person, how much power you have for yourself. It's that give and take of power energy, power dynamics within relationships. And the Sun wants to reveal or shine a light on where those hidden power dynamics play out, whether that's in your personal relationships or whether that is on a world stage. So I think we might be in for some big ego clashes here, or at least some kind of revealed secrets or hidden truths could be coming to light this week, because the Sun is finally shining its light over there on Pluto, and it's going to be challenging for some people, but it's going to be able to really get a clear image or a clear picture of really what's going on here, what's going on behind why the world is the way it is now, why things are being released and not being released. I think we're in for some revealing. Now, whether this plays out this week or next week, I just feel like there's going to be some really exciting things happening this week. So again, we still had this stellium taking place here in Aquarius. As I'm reading this today is the Saturday, the 18th. We've just come off that energy of the new moon in Aries. We also had in Aries Mercury sitting in Aries, Mars, Saturn, and as well as Neptune. And over here we have Chiron still in Aries. So it's quite a stellium playing out currently, and as at the time I'm reading it, the Sun is leaving Aries, so the Sun was in the mix and we had that new moon. But now we're seeing, as this reading goes live for the week ahead, for Monday will be the 20th of April, we are seeing this energy of activation of Pluto. Pluto is the changes and transformations. It wants to bring great changes in a very harsh way, in a way that's not kind and gentle, in a way that is like the Tower card in the tarot and kind of the Death card put together. So it's that big changes on the horizon, and the sun is going to be activating or shining its light on what changes need to be made, whether it's in your personal life or whether it's on the world stage. We may be seeing some things be revealed, or some truths, whether it's personal truths or world truths, being brought to light this week. The stellium still brings the energy of the tension. We've still got Mercury sitting in Aries. Mercury is a communicator. Aries is that warlike, conflict, competitive way. So there still could be harsh tongues, I feel here. We've got Mars sitting over there in the mix there as well. So Mars is conjunct with Mercury here. Really tight conjunction, 8 degrees and 8 degrees. Also 7 degrees Saturn. Saturn is the taskmaster. Saturn is the one that it also rules kind of like military, government structures and things like that. But I feel that's why this energy is very, very tense. It's like a revving up of the military, a revving up of structure and order, and, you know, getting things in order. Being held accountable is also another thing that this can represent. So, but then we've got this, especially when we've got meetings of countries with these aspects, it's like it's not the most favorable aspects to be having negotiations. Having Mercury sitting conjunct with Mars is about tension and heightened escalation and like roaring tempers and conflict, and really the communication brings the blockages there. So it's like they're not able to negotiate in a balanced way. If we had Venus in the mix, Venus is all the way down here at the end of Taurus, sitting in conjunction with Uranus. Uranus looks for outside of the box solutions. So maybe we could be looking at outside solutions, outside of the box, or other country kind of offering solutions. But up here, right in the middle of the mix, between the US and Iran or Israel, we're still seeing heated tempers. We're still seeing not wanting to bend their will or allow other people to speak or share their side of the story. It's conflict. It's both sides not bowing down. This is according to the astrology. So it's definitely not favorable placements in astrology to be doing negotiations. By far, probably the worst aspects you could be looking at for trying to negotiate peace deals. It's just not happening here by the astrology. So they're the biggest things I can see, and they are big things. We have the moon over this week will be transiting through Gemini, activating Gemini ascendants. It will then move through Cancer this week, and then it will move into Leo this week. Now, as it moves into Leo, it will trine Pluto over here. Oh, sorry, not trine. It will be opposing Pluto. They're sitting opposite each other. So it's going to bring the moon's all about emotion. So it's going to bring emotional accountability or emotional depth, I think, here, because Pluto's depth. So we're really going to be seeing the depth of emotion, triggered also by this stellium of Mercury, especially Mercury, Mars and Saturn. It's the worst placements over here of firing energy. And then we had the emotions in the mix sitting opposite to Pluto with the egos and the willpower. Oh, this is catastrophic. This is big energy playing out here in the astrology. So I think as far as peace negotiations go, I'd be very surprised if we got any kind of resolution this week. The astrology is just not favorable for that this week, but it could be tensions really heating up here. So let's see what the cards want to reveal. What these cards have to say. Now, I'm feeling in my body a couple of things. First of all, I'm feeling heat, a lot of heat through my body. So I'm feeling like heated tension, heated emotions, which further aligns to the astrology placement. But a lot of heat energy. So that's firing tensions, firing emotions. Not to mention we have explosive detonation, detonation on the cards, which is extreme force. And as I say that, my body is really going into heat overdrive here. So it's like really hot energy, and I think that's the astrology playing out over here. So there's a lot going on here in the cards. Now also, when I was shuffling, I kind of snuffed out my it was my incense. It was smoking, and I got smoking gun, and it was like my cards kind of fell on it and snuffed out the smoke. So whether we're I don't know if it's taking someone out or there's a smoking gun or what that means. But anyway, I'll just leave that as just something that happened. Could be coincidental. Let's get into the card reading here. So we've got foundation, infrastructure, sitting on top of explosive detonation. Are we talking about actual threats, or are we talking about things really happening this week, action being taken this week? Now, I know there was like a 2 week we had of nothing being done, but the cards here are saying whether we're getting threats of it or whether it's happening. We're seeing foundation, infrastructure, and explosive detonation or extreme force sitting together, which is probably not good. Well, it's not good to have those two cards placed together like that. Now, algorithmic influence. This card, whenever we see this card, means something big happens and it hits our algorithms, which means we're all looking at it. That's the collective energy. It's coming across the media, it's coming across social media, and it's affecting the collective energy because it's everywhere. So whenever we see the algorithmic energy in a spread, it means something big happening this week, which hits the internet, hits the media, and it then affects the collective energy, because this is a collective energy reading. Now, the cognitive disruptions could be disruptions to infrastructure, could be disruptions to the peace talks, disruptions of some sort. Now, it could be related to that energy there of the smoking gun, whatever that was, but I'm seeing some kind of disruptions going on. I'm also feeling a blocking, because I feel the energy of blocking. So I don't know if this is collectively people are blocking out what's coming through on the algorithm. So maybe you're consciously deciding that I'm just not focusing on that. I'm not adding to the collective energy, or I'm not giving this any energy. For some reason, I'm getting something about blocking, collectively people blocking, and then I'm seeing it sitting next to algorithm. So whatever this is, it's coming through the algorithm. Now, because it's also sitting down diagonal to power plays and tactical maneuvers, we could be looking at strategic strategy at play here. So whether this is a strategy at play with the foundation, infrastructure, extreme detonation, extreme force, or whether we're looking at whatever's hitting the algorithm is a power play. It's a strategic move. And then we see the people like going like this. Now, this could be some people shifting their thinking, seeing things clearly. That sun activating Pluto, revealing. So maybe people are opening their eyes finally to some kind of information or something that's been hidden. That could definitely be a thing on the cards this week because of the astrology placements with sun activating Pluto like that, squaring the Pluto. So it could be people really just getting to see, people, the collective, actually getting to see what is hidden here, what is going on here. Or it could just be a blocking energy of like, this is just, I'm not looking at this, or some kind of blocking energy is what I'm getting. Something about ethics going on here, because we've got the genetic biotech. So whether there's something genetic, we're looking at some kind of revealed information or truth to do with genetics, or some kind of science project, or something ethical, something about the ethics of something here. Ethics of something could be related to this, these ones over here, the ethics of something. Now, I don't know if that's why people are blocking, because of the ethics are a bit screwed up here on this energy. Now, we also see an optimistic approach, an improved situation. So that is a positive card, sitting with a bunch of challenging cards. This could be also, you're looking at the two images here, the one image of a person just like, I'm just not dealing with this. And as I said, there's two different ways to look at this card, and the collective will deal with things in two different ways. One will be, I'm just not looking at this. I'm taking an optimistic approach and focusing on blocking out whatever challenges are going on in the world right now, and focusing where you can on the bubble, the things that are in your life, your family, the people you love, the job you love. Not everybody loves their job, by the way. Whatever it is you do love, getting back into nature, planting gardens because you see this person's got a basket of fruit. So whatever that is for you, it's about focusing on your life personally and trying to find the good stuff or the optimistic things within your own life, because there feels to be a bit of heavy energy on the outside of the individual's core energy. But then again, this cognitive disruption could bring disruptions to something because of what's going on with the algorithm and the media, social media, and the news. Now, the only other one that I didn't talk about was assistance and support. So this could be alignment, allies, trying to find a way to intervene in the strategy, or bringing in assistance and support, or people, the teams that have come already together, and that's a tactical maneuver. So somebody within that team or those allies could be what's causing the extreme force or the explosive detonation. So then tactical maneuvers have to be made to improve that situation. That's kind of interesting. And I wonder if that is Israel. Interesting. So let's take a look at the forecast for the week ahead. So let's take a look at predictively what we could be seeing for the week ahead. Now, I'm first drawn to the final echo, which is a mourning or a loss. So we could see the loss of somebody. Maybe that's what's hitting the algorithm this week. We see the algorithm influence. So maybe that we're seeing somebody, the loss of somebody this week. And that's what is all over the social media or the media. We see harvest affected. This is the farmers. Farmers have been in the cards for weeks now because they are impacted by what's going on in the world. And then we see harmful exposure or toxins, and we see that mask. And I said one of the cards that came up in last week's reading was it looked like spraying. I said pesticides. Everybody's telling me it's fertilizer. So, and then we see it sitting with the harvest affected. So that it's farming products of some sort. So, and then we see this harmful exposure or toxins, I feel, is just this, whatever it is that the farmers use, the products that, because we've got the mask on as they're fertilizing or they're spraying of some sort. Then we see also affected, we're going to be hearing again, it's flight paths, it's travel. We're talking about jet fuels here as well. That's no big surprise as far as what we could see predictively this week. It's quite straightforward and what you would expect to see just by knowing what's going on in the world. But what we are seeing is growth and expansion, financial abundance. That's a card of getting or receiving. So maybe we're seeing an authoritarian response here. This is a leader, a authoritarian response looking out for jet fuels and farmers here, fertilizers, farmers, jet fuel. So that becomes a headline as trying to secure whatever the infrastructure or secure the needs that we have for those three industries there. Then we see false information or some kind of deception being revealed. That is the sun shining its light on Pluto in the astrology, and we're going to be seeing something revealed about lies or deception. Interesting. We see that sitting on top of the travel plan. We see that sitting harmful exposure in diagonal, and we see it diagonal to the abundance coming in. So whether it's a deception, the abundance coming in, and what they're saying about we've got enough or we've secured this, maybe that's false information. So just be eyes open to what information we're receiving from leaders, because there's a little bit of deception going on there as well. Algorithm information sits next to final echo, which is the loss or a mourning of a person. Then we see authoritarian response is a leader. authoritarian response is a leader or action being taken, but I feel like it's a leader. We also have the card in the mix as well that was in the first spread, an optimistic approach. So it's again, when you're seeing this algorithm, it's quite strange that these two cards appeared for the second time together. When you're seeing this, whatever's going around the internet this week, or the media, the social media, the algorithm, it's important to improve your personal situation. We're seeing an optimistic approach to something. Maybe there's an upside to whatever's going on here. Maybe when maybe as the sun activates Pluto and lies are revealed, some kind of truth comes out. Maybe it's hard to hear, but maybe there's an ending of somebody and then something gets revealed, but maybe that's hard to hear, but maybe it's improves the situation in the future, or it's something that we do need to hear. So looking at the upside of terrible news or the upside of loss. Strange. Anyway, I'm going to leave that part there. Can't feel what that is, but there's something weird going on there, but we're going to be seeing it all over the internet, whatever that is. So let's have a look at the personal. Okay, this is the personal section. This is the section where the best way to navigate the current energies coming through. We're seeing successful outcome, a breakthrough. We're seeing perception, deception. We're seeing that deception in the cards again. We're seeing broken credibility and trust collapsing because of some kind of deception being revealed. People being able to see from a different perspective. People looking from a different perspective. Something coming to light. Now, personally, on a personal level, this is about seeing the situation from an outside perspective or from a different perspective. Maybe there's some kind of intervention or support that's needed here for people around you. Maybe you need to... Okay, because I'm getting rainbows after a storm, so... and a breakthrough. So maybe for some people there's difficulties and challenges. Okay, as I say that, I feel like it feels more to be, rather than the energy that we've seen in the last few weeks of, where I've had to say, look after the people around you. This feels more like an eye-opening and awakening kind of energy. It feels more like something's happening. I don't know if it's sun energy, something happening with the sun, of activation, of eyes open, awakening kind of energy. Seeing the truth clearly. And again, it could just be the astrology, it could be the sun activating Pluto, and truth will be revealed. But people are ready for that. People want that. That's success. That's a good outcome, and that's why we've got the rainbow after the storm, because having your eyes open, seeing the truth of a situation, finally being told what's really going on. So as far as if we've been told over and over again, oh, everything's going to be okay, and then all of a sudden we're told, okay, look, you may have to start preparing yourself, and I'm not saying this is what it is, I'm just giving an example, then it's a breakthrough because it's truth. It's finally being told the truth. As hard as it is to hear, that came up in the other spread, it's truth. So it doesn't feel bad to me. It doesn't feel, even if it is a challenging thing that's revealed, trust collapse, broken credibility, I'm seeing it as a breakthrough because it's truth finally. That's pretty good. So maybe look at it from that perspective. As difficult as whatever this is to hear or see or find out, it's truth. So, we need to be grateful that we're finally seeing the truth, or the truth is starting to come out, whatever this is. So I hope you all have a beautiful week ahead. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back again next week.